What it do, y'all? We back at it again. You know what it is, man. It's the voice of the culture. You know, I got my man sitting next to me. Young legend in the making already, man. Just steadily doing what he doing, man. My guy from New Jersey.
My boy.
I appreciate you, and thank you,
Nah, thank
cause
you for having me.
it's been a long time. We kicked it a couple of years ago, in the same spot that you performing at
Yeah,
next
for tone
Friday.
tone stuff, right?
Yo,
Yeah.
that's crazy, but it's fire though. You know what I'm saying? I respect it. Shout out to the Hush family for once again locking us in. And yo, let's just get right involved, man. Champ, I gotta give you your flowers, man. I ain't gonna front. Your music is incredible.
Thank you, man.
I ain't gonna
Appreciate
front,
it.
yo. I bump like yo. When I say this, I just be strolling. You know how this game go, and I just saw what you was doing. I think it was off of A-Tone joint. I said, the fuck is this kid rapping? Yo, what really inspired me to really sit down and kick it with you was your bars. It wasn't a fluke. You was really giving us some music.
I appreciate it, man. I try. I try my
Nah,
best.
you doing more than trying. So I just want to salute you on that because at the end of the day, a lot of people just be out here just doing something, man. But you ain't just doing something. You're doing some things. It's a difference between doing something and some things. How did it all start for you, King? Where did that hunger? Where did that? Because you a hungry cat. I could tell that already. Because you stay active. Where did it all start from for you?
I definitely get the hustle from my mom's. My mom's has been a single mother since I was a child, and she was always hustling, trying to figure out a way. Music. Like my mom was actually like very much into the arts. She was like a professional dancer coming up, so she was in like New York Ballet and stuff like that.
Okay.
When I was born, obviously that ship had sailed
Right.
at that point. But she was very into music, and I think I just was like really like brought up in a household that had music surrounding all the time. She always wanted me to get into music. She felt like since I was a kid, my response to things was like very feeling based with music, and but I didn't kind of lean into it because at the time, I'm growing up in Teaneck. I'm trying to fit in. Sports is the popping thing, so like I'm a hooper, so I try. I was playing basketball.
And I heard you was nice.
I was alright,
I heard you was nice though, champ. They said
only white kid on the team.
right. They said you was alright, champ. I ain't gonna front.
I had my moments. I had some days, but at that time, like I was just really just trying to acclimate, and at the time as well, my mom, we were kind of struggling a bit financially, so I ended up moving around a lot in the high school period.
Okay.
So like I kind of just never had like a stationary spot to like lean into the music stuff. I was always writing like in my phone, or I had journals, and I don't know if it was rap or poetry, but just like
thoughts.
just stream of consciousness. Like the act of writing was always something that kind of gave me an outlet. As time passed and I eventually went to college, I ended up going to college in New Orleans, which was like just a very musically inclined city.
What made you go down there though?
My uncle, I was telling him I was having an interest in music because in college you're like, I was realizing I'm not really into school like that.
Right.
And he was like, yo, you should come to school in New Orleans. It's just like the city is super amazing. And he worked for like a nonprofit over there that was like helping the city with like, activities, music-based stuff. He was like, you should check it out down here. So I ended up applying. I went. And I think like just being around so many people who were making music, whether they were good or weren't, it just kind of gave me the confidence to like, you know what, I'm gonna take a step into this for real. And I ended up, making a couple. I met a guy who was trying to make beats, and it's crazy. They had a studio at the school, and I got cool with the guy who was running the studio, so he let me borrow the key while he went to class, and I
Wow.
went to Walmart,
And that was your cheat code.
made a copy of the key, and then,
You said I went to Walmart.
I did, man. I did. I got a copy of the key, and then I was just in there all night, and I made my first couple songs, and the school started bubbling about it. And then I just started getting, it was like the SoundCloud era, 2017,
Okay.
2018 era. Like I started getting some looks, off, SoundCloud, and, my streams were like going crazy. And what was wild was I didn't even have a SoundCloud. My friend let me upload my songs through his. So, that kind of just like, once I saw it start bubbling at the school, I was like, yo, maybe I could really do this. And it kind of just like, since then, just been full force into it.
Right. So how long did you stay down there for though, King?
Well, so at that time, I was in school like 2016. I was out there. I was there till 2017, and then my mom moved to Texas. So she was like, yo, I don't got a place for you here back in Jersey, so you're going to have to figure it out. So when school ended, I ended up moving to Atlanta just because at the time there was like a producer who was trying to sign me. It did not go in the direction I thought it would.
Right.
Things happen. But so I moved out there and I was just like working at Six Flags, just,
You grinding.
yeah, just
You
trying
on
to
the
figure it
grind.
out, trying to figure it out. I didn't have any music equipment. I really wasn't making music at the time because
Was you still writing though?
yeah, all the time.
Okay.
I was constantly looking for inspiration, whether it's just like sitting in the car, listening to music, just trying to do whatever I could to just keep like the flame in me lit, and just that glimmer of whatever, when things finally go right,
Right.
what it could be. But yeah, so I was out there, and the guy who had made those first couple beats for me, he ended up moving to LA and played my music for some people out there, some notable people. And they're like, yo, tell him to come to LA. So I took the money that I had saved. I went to LA. I met these guys. We were, staying with them. And they were like, yo, you should just move out here. So I ended up just packing my car up, moving there.
Once again, the hustle.
Yeah, no place to stay, nothing. My boy who was supposed to move out there didn't end up moving out there till like 3 months later. So I was just crashing on couches, staying in my car a bit, just figuring it out.
Grinding.
Yeah, and just like trying to pull up to studios, see how it all works. So that's kind of like, pandemic time, I came back home. And, that's kind of like when I locked in on everything, I think. Like things just became a bit more fluent, organized. I learned how to record myself. I learned, I got a computer, all this stuff. So, yeah, it's just kind of a little summary of my journey thus far.
I knew it was a journey though. You know what I mean? Reason why I could tell it was a journey because I could tell in your music. Like your music represents a journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It represents the underdog fighting. It represents, yo, this is who I am. One thing I respect about you is that you're very confident in who you are.
I try to be, man.
I mean, to try is to fail. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I feel like you are because you know what? You stay moving. You stay active. Like some people don't have the confidence to go to, I'm not going down there. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes the confidence to pack up a whip and bounce.
Yeah.
That's confidence, brother. Especially when you have nothing to go to, just a hope,
Yeah.
a dream, a vision of what somebody else sold you.
Yeah.
That's confidence, King. You know what I'm saying? And you putting that in your music, man, is what I feel like personally from listening to it. It gravitates it. It keep leveling up. I can see the steps. I can see the growth. I can see the sound. I can see the happiness in your music too. Like, yo, I'm at a different space than I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's always peaks and valleys. I'm constantly going through, the peaks, the valleys, and that's just, I think, like, I try to make music from just who I am. Like, I don't try to like make a song just to make a song. Like it's always constant, whether I'm in a mood to party or whether I'm like going through something with, a girl, whatever it may be. I always try to make music from that space of just like authentically me, my perception. So, I'm always moving, and I took those risks because, to be honest, like those scenarios of what I experienced of like the other side of the fence of like what this could all be was enough to give me the juice to just not even like, well, I'm just gonna do it. Like, what else? I've always been just so in my spirit against, like, I feel uncomfortable just staying still. Like, I feel like the nomadic spirit in me is like, I gotta get moving. Like, I need to move. So, especially in the music, man, like I'm constantly searching. I'm constantly looking for ways to level up. And there's a lot of times where it feels like it's working. There's times where it doesn't. But what else am I gonna do? Like, stop? Like,
Some people will, though, champ. You know that. Some people get to the halfway to the finish line and be like, you know what? I'm too tired to make it.
Yeah, I'm too close to the finish line to be like I've made it this far. I'm not. I would have wasted all this time walking.
The
this
whole
far.
journey would have just
Yeah.
been a fucking bust, truthfully. You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
And I feel like that's what makes your testimony great for other MCs that need to understand that. It's not what you think. It's a journey
Yeah,
if you believe in yourself.
for sure.
Because at the end of the day, how many people sold you mixtapes and bull? When I say mixtape, how many times people sold you a bunch of bullshit? That didn't stop you. We sitting here in the hush now talking about it. You about to do your second show in T-Night.
Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy.
come on, champ. I salute you for that, man.
Thank you,
That's fire, man. Yo, I want to ask you this though, man. The state of hip hop, man, today, with all these clones. Forgive me, because I'm a little older. I've seen a lot of this. Is like a lot of cloning. How do you feel about that? The clones kind of getting it to the next level faster than those that's putting in the work.
I think you get in what you put out. So like, I think because of social media and because of the internet, we think just because someone got it quicker means they're gonna stick around longer. So I don't really spend too much time like thinking about what other people are doing. And if I see someone get it, all props to them. But I'm really focused on like where I'm gonna be 10 years from now. And there's been so many cases of people who pop off quick and they're gone in a year, or somebody comes and replaces them. Somebody said something great to me one time. I can't remember the exact quote, but basically it was like, you know, somebody in their career who's had a long career was kind of like all those building blocks of like small things adding up created a fan base that like when he's on album mode and when this artist who just popped off from a poppin' single is on album mode and they're both working, everything's cool. But because he's built up this foundation, when he's taking time off, he has something to lean on. He's got fans that are going to stick around forever versus
Right.
this person who only knows this one poppin' song that you
Right.
have. They're not going to stick around. You're just as good as your next song. So I think like with all the clones and stuff, or as you so eloquently put it, but you know, like if you get to it, all props to you. But it's hard to get it, but twice as hard to keep it.
Yo, I say that all the time to my partner. It's funny. I tell him all the time, the easiest part is getting money. The hardest part is holding on to it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you
Doubling it.
get it, you gotta, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, I want to keep the same mind state that I was at when I got it. Let's just keep elevating, man. Yo, the game has changed so much since you started with the industry, the music, the labels, the people. You know, sometimes that can get a little discouraging to put your talent on the shelf. You had a learning time though. And that learning time, what was the biggest lesson out of that?
Just trust your gut. I've been offered so many situations thus far that, you know, just didn't feel right. Like it's something about it just didn't feel right. And I'm never like anti-label or anti, you know, situation. It's all just about like knowing my worth, knowing what my worth is going to be in 10 years because I know the work I'm putting in and the foundation that I'm building up. And although they may not see it in that moment of where it's going to be, you know, I think like I just trust my gut. If something feels disingenuine, like I'm not going to do it, you
Right.
know? And the climate of the game, it's like you just got to read the terrain, man. Like you got to be able to pivot. You got to be adaptable. You got to do your research and know what's going on. You know, I know like it's the music business. They operate as a business. So like I'm not jaded by people who have tried to sign me to shitty situations or people who's overlooked me. Like I know that they don't know. Like they don't know. Like they're just another person who searching, trying to find, going off data and whatever. You know, they don't go off. It's not like how it was in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, where like you had real people at shows looking for something special.
Right, not just looking at a view or a number.
Yeah. So, you know, like for me, I'm just kind of, the things that I've learned is just to like trust your gut, know your worth, you know, be fluid and do your research. Like understand what's going on. Cause it's like, you know, if you own a business and you understand how someone who owns a business and how the business operates, you can't really be mad. It's just like, all right, cool. Like
It's business. It's not
Yeah.
like they say, it's not personal. It's business.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's the real part about the game. I think the culture is missing. They're not doing no homework. They're just looking for give me the cheat sheet. The cheat sheet don't give you longevity. That's the
Yeah.
difference. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
glad you specified that because I feel like being here today and going tomorrow is not a legacy. It's like, yo, oh, he had a good run.
Yeah.
Like, yo, where are they now? Like that shit, where are they now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to, we still listen to Anita Baker
For sure.
to this day. That
Yeah.
song her music is going to play for our kids, my grandkids. Like, or you just want to be that, yo, that summer guy came out and he killed it. That was just for the summer. And I'm glad that you are focused on the longevity instead of not just a quick pipe dream. I respect that about you too because society and the culture got us on some pipe dream shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even doing the podcast, you think, oh, you see somebody, oh, he got 100 million. You could just, it's not going to just happen like that.
Yeah.
And congratulations to that 100 million. But what comes with that 100 million? You know what I'm saying? Are you selling your soul? You selling your dignity
Yeah.
just to get the 100 million that you're not going to be successfully enjoying? So I'm glad you see all that. Yo, I'm going to be honest, man. Working with a group of different individuals, man, do you grab different pieces from everybody and put it up to your own puzzle?
For sure. I've definitely like I take cues from people, especially those who I admire or respect. And I think you spend enough time with people, you just start to like naturally take those things in. I mean, even like my manager is like, you know, those guys have a specific way of doing things. I have a specific way of doing things, and I think over the last couple years, it's been kind of like a bridging the gap. Like some of how maybe I was like, I have the hustle and the drive, and they have the real thought, calculated thinking, and those two bridge the gap. Now we're both, you know, I'm really thinking about things. They're really
Right.
hustling, like, you know. So there was something I wanted to mention also that based on what you just said before you asked that question, is a big thing for me is like I really just don't want to skip a step. I want to know what it feels like to perform in front of 10 people, no matter how good my music sounds or how it's streaming, because I want to know so I can appreciate when I have 10,000. You know, even we've been rehearsing for this show, and I had rehearsal on Tuesday. And, you know, in the room, I got in-ears and stuff that I'm using. I'm trying to level up my performance. And everything isn't really like to the T of how we want it to be in terms of like, I can't have the mic levels exactly how I want. It conflicts with this. And it's like, you know, we want to make it as perfect as possible. And the guy who's running my sound was like, you know, it's like, you know, how do you want to do this? And I said, honestly, I'm cool with like there being some imperfection because I want to know that like if I train perfectly and something on the day of the show doesn't go perfect, it'll throw me off.
Exactly.
Versus, like I do the best I can. There's still some imperfection, and then on the day it is perfect and there's no hiccups. But if there are, I'm gonna know exactly how to deal with it. It's not
Right.
gonna throw
You're
me
gonna know
off.
how to pivot once it happens, because like, okay, we wasn't squeaky.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's kind of, but it goes back to who you are. You always looking further. You're not just, okay, we cool right here. We kind of, I want to look down the block. What's down the street? And that's the same thing you put in your performance. Yo, you know, your music, man, it's no cap on it. Like, it's no ceiling. It's not like you have and I might be wrong. I just feel like you for everybody. I don't feel like you just targeting a certain amount of people. Because I feel like some people are targeting, all right, I'm going to target the hustlers. I want to target the strippers. I feel like, yo, my music, I could target everybody. That's the way that's the way I received it, bro.
Well, I'm glad you receive it that way. I can't say that that's intentional. I mean, I definitely want to grab everybody. I want everybody to be able to feel like they can, you know, as an artist, you want to share your art with as much people as
Right.
possible. But I think like, you know, marketing and, you know, execs or everybody does try to kind of keep you in this like pool of
You sound like, or you should
or
be.
your tribe is this. And I think
Right.
like in essence, like any artist, we're humans first and foremost. So like, you know, all the feelings that you feel, I've most likely felt or will feel at some point.
Right.
And I think like my music speaks to that, which is like, I'm not just going to make songs just like this because I'm a full human. There's other feelings that I have. And so that's why, you know, some people may lean more in this direction. Some people may lean more in that. But I've just done both because it's natural to me. It's not, you know.
And that's the difference. It's nobody behind you winding you up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, you ready? Let's the toy soldier situation, because that's what the industry is. I feel like, you know, what I'm seeing is just the wind up instead of just, yo, I'm being me. This is who I am. I'm gonna rap for me. I'm human. I'm straight, but I'm passionate about being me. And that's one thing I admire about you. You're very passionate about being you. You're not, from what I've saw, you're not trying to catch a wave. Yo, get on my wave. I'm the wave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of wave hoppers out here, especially with the social media now, because anybody can get behind things and say things and talk. But at the end of the day, man, your race, man, like, how many times have you told yourself, yo, I'm gonna be great? Because I tell myself that at least maybe 10 times a day, yo, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. And I say that because I'm like you, I have confidence in myself. I believe in myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes at the worst point of your moment, you gotta remind yourself, yo, I'm great. You know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely super self-critical. I'm always trying to I'm a perfectionist, so I'm always looking at like, what can I be doing better? What could I have done better? You know, there's definitely times where I got to remind myself. Luckily, I'm very blessed to have people around me who remind me if I'm ever lacking, and reminding myself, you know, that I'm great. But I, you know, just being honest, like I'm definitely always wondering like what I could do better. Is there something I missed? Is there a stone I didn't turn over? You know, so there's definitely been moments throughout my life where I've just had to, you know, our whole thing is, my whole brand is called EWBO. So people see me post about it, they always ask what it stands for. And it's everything will be okay. Because, you know, that's kind of like the movement that I'm pushing. I have it tatted, like that's my whole thing, is that even when I was sleeping in my car and I'd never had no songs to my name or whatever, I was just, you know, reminding myself like it's all gonna work out. Like everything's gonna work out, works out exactly how it's supposed to be. So I'm constantly reminded. I don't know if that's me being like I'm the greatest, but
you are though.
You know?
Well, why wouldn't you be? I mean, I feel like I tell my kids that y'all the greatest.
We should be thinking
we
like
gotta
that.
install that into people that we love.
Nah,
like let's
I
not,
agree.
know what I mean? I want to tell. I don't have a problem telling another man, yo, you great, king. I don't have a problem calling you king.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I want you to greet me. You give what you get. You know what I'm saying? And people run off people's energy. And your energy, the first time I met you, I was, yo, I ain't gonna front. I was like, yo, homeboy, yo, man, he's official. And I was, honestly, bro, I'm gonna keep it real for the culture. When the first time I saw you at the spot, I said, yo, that's homeboy, man. That's the kid that got that music, man. And I was a little nervous to run down on you at the time because, yo, I was a fan.
Where I mean,
I gotta yo, I'm just being honest, yo. I don't give a fuck about what, you know what I mean? It's okay to be a fan and give somebody their flowers. I don't know you, but you killing this shit, bro.
no, I appreciate it.
And I like hip hop. I love hip hop. I come from the 90s and all that era. So to hear somebody just, yo, being themselves and having that confidence, yo, I'm behind that, bro. And I'm honored to sit with you and just pick your brain because you've been on a world tour personally, just constantly grinding, bro. How do you keep up with all this? How do you stay motivated with all this going on, man?
Man, I wish there was like a
Do
rhyme
we
or
sleep
reason.
at night? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
I definitely
man?
have trouble sleeping for sure. I wish I had a rhyme or reason or like a blueprint as to how to, but you know, like it's just in me. Like I can't. It's a chemical thing. You know, I'm a very ambitious and motivated person. Like I've got an engine on me. I've like my work ethic and my drive is just. There's a lot I want to do, and I'm constantly thinking about time, and you know, because at any moment it could all be taken away from you, and so I'm trying to do as much as I can while I'm here. And you know, hopefully, like you said you were nervous to run down on me. You know, hopefully when you spoke to me, you didn't feel that way after the fact.
Nah,
you
but
know?
your old boy cool as hell. You know what I mean? Because that was like, yo, that's homeboy. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, but I respected you like, yo, I respect him like that. You know what I mean? And then, yo, my man was like, yo, go holler at him. We chopped it up and we here. So, you know, at the end of the day, yo, it's a blessing to be around greatness. You know what I'm saying? Because greatness resonates over the more greatness, man.
Nah, likewise, King.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, I watched the interview you did with someone, and you said something about your grandfather. Always said, yo, you was just that risk taker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My mom had asked. My grandpa asked my mom how I was doing, and my mom was like, you know.
It was one, yeah, okay, that's how it
Yeah,
was.
she was just like, you know, guy, just doing everything that scares the shit out of him until he achieves it and then moves on to the next thing that scares the shit out of him. Yeah, I don't know why, man. I'm just drawn to that. There's something about the feeling, the adrenaline, the like, can I accomplish this? Can I accomplish this? That pulls me in. Like, I've always been that way with whatever. When I was the only white kid trying out for the basketball team, just being like, can I do this? I'm just driven, for some reason, I'm just driven by like, can I do this? And then being like, yeah, I achieved that.
I did that. I made the team. I might not didn't play. I don't know the situation, but it's like, okay,
Played
I
a
made the
little
team.
bit.
Right. That's a part of it. Like, okay, I made the team. I'm the
Yeah.
only white kid to make the team.
And
Now
there's the next mountain.
getting on the court, getting that playing time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, that ain't nothing but the competitiveness in you, though. You know what I mean? And that's also about being passionate about what you believe in, bro. And not afraid to believe in your fucking self and not get on somebody else's shit and have them pump you up. Because a lot of people pump you up and you like, hold up, I don't think this is even for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On your journey, man, life comes with so many different angles. I'm gonna ask you this, man, and an honest question. Have you really ever felt like saying, fuck this shit?
Nah.
Wow.
I've never felt like fuck this shit. There's definitely been times where like, you know, you're like, damn, how am I gonna do this? I've plenty of times been like, how am I gonna do this with no knowledge of how? I know where I wanna be, but I don't know the road to get there. And the truth of the matter is you just keep doing stuff until you figure it out, you know? That's really the name of the game is like, you're constantly walking in the dark. You know, I mean, that's like a spiritual thing too. Like they say, you know, faith is, you have faith without sight.
Walk by faith, not by sight.
Yeah. So that's just like, you know, there's so many times where I'm like, man, how am I going to do this? And I just continue to do the best that I can, try to make the moves that I can. And you know, where the cars land, and I take my cues from there. I learn what I can, and I double back, I double down, you know. But I've never felt like I love it too much. If there was ever a moment that I was like, man, fuck this, like the microphone would be, I'd hear it whispering in my living room. It's called, I'm addicted to it. Like I'm addicted to that high of like, what's the next best thing I can make? Making something, seeing how people are affected by it, you know, seeing seeing it, like when I get invited to to be in certain rooms and bringing my managers, bringing my people with me, seeing the joy on their faces, like when we're in a very exclusive spot, like you can't just get in here and people are coming up to us and grab, I love it so much.
But you don't take it for granted because you know it's just another level to go.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
You know what I
it's
mean?
part of
Like
it.
like lightning only strikes in a bottle once. Okay, we in this building. Once again, let's get to the other building.
Yeah.
And then we get to that building, let's get to the corner office, and then let's get the main office, and let's take over the whole floor.
Yeah.
Yo, that's what keeps me driven too, because I feel like it's never enough. You know what I'm saying? You've been dancing and shaking around in major places. That's a blessing, especially for your story, bro. You know
Definitely
what I mean?
a blessing.
And I give you much props and respect on that because people, man, don't see themselves 5 years from now. They see a glimpse. They don't see themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You say, yo, I know where I want to be at in 10 years. I'm the same way. I know where I want to be at in 3. You know what I mean? Small-term goal, long-term goals. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Have you ever got so excited where you felt like, you know what? I made it?
Nah.
Took a deep breath on that one.
Yeah. I mean, as you achieve certain things, whether that's like making something new, performing in a spot, your appetite starts to grow.
Yes,
And
it
it's
does.
like, okay, I'm not satisfied with just the appetizers. I want this now, or I want to see if I can do this. And so that, like, I don't know if there will ever come a day, and sometimes that scares me. Like, I don't know if there will ever come a day where I'm like, I made it, or like, this is it. This is exactly everything I wanted. When I was playing basketball, I remember a coach telling me, he said, the day you play a perfect game is the day you should stop playing basketball. There's always something. There's always something you could do better. You could have did that dribble combination better. Even though you had 30 and maybe y'all won the game, you could have did this better. Like there's always, so the day you play a perfect game. And I think like that's something that's kind of just in me now. But I don't know if there will come a day where I'm like, I made it, and that scares me because it's like,
Well, Chief, I'm gonna be honest with you. You said that because I told that to my pops the other day. We talked on the phone. And he said, yo, he always tells me, son, don't get comfortable. Just be cool.
yeah,
This is cool. Now let's on to the next. Don't get too comfortable. Because when you get comfortable, you get lazy. And when you get lazy, you get tired. And I don't ever want to get tired.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of doing what I feel that I should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm going to ask you this, man. Teaneck, New Jersey, bro. How did it feel for you to do your first show? Well, I don't know. Was that your first show at that spot when you did it?
That was my first headlining show, yeah.
How did that feel, man?
It felt incredible, man. I mean, in fashion of what everything we talking about, the first thing I'll do when I walk off is ask like Kyoko, like, how did I do? And he'll be like, shut up, bro. Like, enjoy the moment. Like, but it felt incredible, man. Like, it felt, especially not just for me, like, to see like the openers thanking me so much for putting
that
them on that,
opportunity.
and then getting to experience that, and then feeling like they had so much fun, and people coming up to me and telling me, like, that was the biggest thing I kept hearing, is people kept saying they had a lot of fun, like it felt like it was a vibe for them. And to me, I realized like that's what I want out of my shows. I don't want people in there feeling like they just standing up there and watching me. I want people in there
Engaging.
yeah, they want to come meet a girl, or they want to, see somebody they haven't seen in a long time, or they want to meet somebody new and have a conversation, and and hear some good music and feel
Bring people together.
yeah, so it felt amazing, man. Like, of course I'm already on what else can I do next, but it also just further solidified this desire that I have to just like uplift my community and bring New Jersey to the forefront of music. I know we've had a lot of legends come from here, and I know like a lot of people say like, New Jersey is stamped or deep in a lot of ways, but I feel like we have never been on the mainstream front lines of, anything in terms of music, art. And I think like it's about time that people start recognizing all the talent we have, how special this is, like, where New Jersey, and especially Bergen County, is like so unique, man. I was so blessed to be brought up in this area,
Yeah, that's a fact. And we take that for granted. Yo, I want to ask you, what makes you decide who you want to bring to share that stage with you, man?
It's really about people who I see really trying, and feeling like maybe they're not getting the opportunities they feel like they deserve or want. And as somebody who's like I haven't broken down all the doors or the biggest doors, but I've broken into some doors and seen how to do certain things. And I think like, I look at people who are really trying to do stuff, maybe not feeling like they're hitting the bullseye. I have no problem just being like, yo, come do this. And I paid them to do that show, so maybe that was their first time ever being paid for a show.
That's dope. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even saying that like it's a flex.
No, we not. It's just that's your passion for the game. I want to make sure my peoples. It goes back to what you said. I want to bring my peoples. I want everybody to be happy. Yo, everybody's not thinking like that. Everybody's thinking me.
Yeah.
How can I outshine them? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to bring some cats up here that's, all right, but I'm going to overshine them. Your thing is, yo, shine, King. Yeah. I need, shine. I'm not paying you to come up here to half step. I'm paying you to shine.
Yeah.
Light this room up.
I've never met anybody who I've seen light was shining that felt like theirs had to dim for somebody else's to shine. You know?
Anybody that's like that is insecure, B. That's insecure whackness. Like, this is reality, you know what I mean? And that comes in the game, too, because I know you've seen that in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, he's all right. Nah, if you know I'm fucking fire, you just don't want to tell me that.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've experienced that all the time.
Right, you know I'm fucking fire. It's okay to say, yo, my nigga, you fire. It's okay. Like, what's wrong with giving somebody the stamp that they should get?
Yeah.
Because you will want the same stamp. Yo, you dope. I like what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. It's
and
like,
it don't affect me. Like,
right.
You doing your thing shouldn't affect how I do my thing.
And I might learn something, or I might can teach you something. Like, we here to grow and elevate. You know what I'm saying? I admire the fact that you kept it real legend. You kept it so legendary where you kept the essence of cats from Bergen County to grace that stage with you.
For sure.
You know what I mean? You kept it hometown. You didn't go here, which you could have probably did anything you wanted to do. I admire that. That's also showing your love for Bergen County artists. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you taking note,
Yo, it's dope that, this new one on June 6th, you got Left. Let's talk about how did that come about, because, Left is, once again, another dope artist, dope person.
Yeah.
Let's be clear, dope person first. I'm going to put that out
Very
there.
good person.
You know what I mean? Loves the game. Is a student of the game. What made that come about, man?
Man, it's crazy because I actually was not familiar with him up until like the last year because...
And we all right here.
Yeah. Because I lived out of state for a bit. So I think like while he was doing music and maybe I was just getting my start in music,
right.
I wasn't here to know like, who was doing what over here. And, I had heard his name brought up, by some of the guys on my team to, like see what he was doing, maybe include him. And at the last one, I was trying to keep it just, I had already selected the people, so I didn't want to like, bring too many people on this one. And then, he was having a listen party in Englewood a couple months ago.
I saw you out there. I was in the building.
Yeah, so I wasn't even aware he was doing that because I just wasn't tuned in. And I pulled up and we didn't really speak or have a chance to speak, obviously because that was his night and I was giving, but, just being there and, getting to chop it up with him a little bit after the fact. I was like, he's a really good dude. And I didn't know he was like a local artist. And I was like, Kyoko had brought it up for the show. He was like, yo, why don't we see if Left is down to do it? And I said, absolutely, man. Because the thing for me is like, whether you're dope or not, the first thing that matters to me is if you're a good person.
Character.
And so he's a good dude, man. Like, he's a good dude. And again, like, when we had spoke, he had mentioned that he heard of the success of the last show. And he just, let me know, like, it gave me, just a congratulations about it. And I was like, yo, we should do something together, man, because you're dope at what you do and you're a dope person, man. You deserve for people to know what's going on about you, know?
Right, definitely. You know what I mean? That's fire that you reached out to that, you know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna front. When I seen that, I said, oh shit. Wow. That's
my light-skinned brother.
Like, yo, I said, that's fire. And you know what's dope about it? I watched y'all put that content up too, together. Like, that was another, you didn't really do that the first time. This one, y'all decided, once again, step it up another level. And honestly, when I saw it and I saw the visual, I was like, yo, that matches. Because you can see the billboard, you can see, okay. But when I saw it, because I sat with Left, didn't have a chance to sit with you yet, but I've been watching what you're doing, so I was like, that's a great, no disrespect, that's a great marriage right there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was fire. And it's just y'all two. So it's like y'all giving each other y'all opportunity to, we not going oversaturated. We're not gonna do too much. We just gonna keep it real simple and plain, man.
Yeah, we just wanted to, and shout out to O-Dog. He was supposed to be there, but he unfortunately he was unavailable. So we would have had him there too. He's the other person opening
Okay.
up.
Where's he from?
He's from Teaneck Englewood area.
Okay,
So
okay.
you know, and even him telling me this is his first time performing locally here. So like that's why I gave him kind of the opportunity to do so as well. But you know, with Left, although like the poster behind us is like my name and the big face, I very much don't like. I'm not giving off the energy like it's my show or
Nah,
I
not
was
at
like,
all.
you know, I wanted it to be humorous. I want it to be lighthearted because like, you know, that's who we are. We're not gonna get on the show and feel like it's that energy. It's like, nah, it's like I'm really trying to community, you know? Cookout energy, you know?
Nah, you promoting us. You really promote. You know, one thing I respect about you, you know what I'm saying, is you always say Bergen County. You always say Teaneck. You always, like, you never strayed outside of that. And a lot of people get so caught up, they try to be something somewhere else. It's like, nah, I want to put us on the map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And being the fact that you had these moves and you made these other, you know, activities, you still always came back to your essence, man. And that, for me, man, I admire that too, because people get caught up in hype and they forget who they are. Regardless of whatever happened, you always gonna say, yo, I want to bring Bergen County, Garden State to the forefront.
Yeah, man.
How important to you, and it's a little personal question, is your legacy for your mother? Because I see you post pics of her when you was kids, and that's dope because I sense that's my rock.
Yeah.
That's my everything.
She and I have been through a lot.
I gotta keep this, like, you know, some people put a flag, it's like, nah, I'm waving this for my moms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My mom is like one of the strongest people I know, and my mom and I had a very unique relationship because she never withheld anything from me since I was a child. She always spoke to me like an adult, whatever is going on, whether she's like, you know, relationship troubles, you know, financial issues. Doesn't matter if I was 10, she was telling me what's going on.
She didn't hide it.
Nah, she didn't hide it. And, you know, that I think that made me grow up real quick, you know, in my mind or have an understanding of stuff. And just, I've watched her work her ass off for years, excuse my language. And, you know, I think I want to see her live her best life, you know, moving forward. And if you see a picture of us, we look exactly alike.
That's your twin.
Yeah, she and I have been through a lot. We've struggled a lot. Our relationship has had challenges. Our lives together have had challenges from the external factor element. And I just, you know, I want everything that I do is a representation of the person that she's raised me to be.
Yeah, that's dope.
So, you know, I just want to make sure I'm doing the best that I can. And I want her to be able to sit at, you know, the dinner table with her friends and be like, that's my baby. Like,
What she's doing.
yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of it all. And once again, it's still not enough.
Nah,
You know what I'm
never,
saying?
yeah.
Because I know, you know what I mean? You, like you said, you talking about 10 years. Some people don't even think past a year, bro. You know what I mean? And I respect the fact that you know your foundation. Like, you're not running from that. And I feel like your foundation also drives you. You know what I mean? That's a heavy push for you. Like, yo, I ain't never forgetting those conversations that my mom had me when I was 10. Like, even to this day, you might have those conversations in your mind. They might replay, like, okay, God, let's get back to, I remember that conversation. I remember the mind state I was in. But look at you now. That elevated you to the man you are now. I got to ask you another question, too, man. How is it important for you to stay true to you?
The most important. I just can't bring it in me to do something that feels disingenuous, you know? Especially like in a game that's constantly trying to get you to wear a mask.
That's why I asked you that, King.
I can't, my stomach turns when I feel like I'm doing something that's not real. I'm constantly even asking my man, you know, like I'll make songs and I'll be like, but is this me? Like,
You question it.
you know, like, am I just like wanting to make a new song or wanting something? I always am keeping myself in check about being authentic to me and making great stuff, trying to make great moves, but also remaining authentic to me. You know, it means everything to me, man. I don't want to live my life as a character. I want to.
Or a puppet.
No, I want to wake up every day and do what I love and know that I can step out, no matter how many cameras are on me, no matter who pulls a microphone out, it's so much easier to live when I just have to be myself.
It's simpler because
Yeah.
you're just doing what you've been doing your whole career.
I don't have to remember to answer a question this way or to make sure that I look a certain way or that I got to put on a certain demeanor because this is the character I have to be. I want to just be me, man. So it means everything to me. And luckily, like, the guys that I'm with are one of one individuals. Like, they are the most authentic people, and each of them are one of each other. Like, they're not like each other. They're not like anybody else. And I think we mesh so well is because we're all our own individual. And I think we all move with that kind of energy. And I think we were at something at the Four Seasons last weekend and people were coming up to us just saying like we had a gravitational pull. And that's because I think we just move authentically as ourselves.
Right.
You know, when people are in a room trying to be something that they're not or put on a presentation or a representation of something they aren't, and they see somebody comfortable in their own skin, it makes them comfortable.
It makes it easier to kick it with you.
Yeah, and that's, you know, it means everything to me to be authentic. I don't want to make it somewhere being somebody that's not me,
Right.
you know?
Because eventually the mask gonna get taken off too. It's gonna drop. The skirt gonna drop sooner or later. And it's like, oh, you know what I mean? You saw
Yeah.
it with Milli Vanilli. Like, you know what I'm saying? How important is your team? How important is a team for you, man? Having a good team, man.
Man, you keep asking how important, all these things are like the most important. It's hard
Yeah.
to say like one's more important than the other. Having a good team is extremely important, and having a team that like, what another blessing is like my team, like my guys did not come up doing this already.
That's the reason
We're
why I
learning
asked you
together. Yeah, we learn together. And if we're all running an incredibly successful career or a business 10 years from now, we're doing it together and we learned all these things together. And I think, you know, having a good team is again, I keep saying it's like the most important. They're all the most
You know,
important.
the reason why I asked you that, because I had a conversation with somebody 2 days ago. And their first thing they said was, yo, I could do it all. And I had to sit back, like, how could you do it all? You need a group of people, and it don't have to be a big setting of group. You just have the right, you can't do it all.
Yeah.
You need, it's a right and left shoe. It's not 1 foot. And he just was like, nah. And I just had to stop having the conversation with him. Because it's like, yo, maybe he made me think that I was bugging out. Like, yo, bro, I ain't telling you to have 20 people, but you can have 2 people. That's your team.
Do as much as you can.
You know what I mean? But your team supports you, and your team uplifts you, and y'all uplift each other. It's like when you running track, you passing the baton.
Yeah,
Somebody got to get to, everybody's not gonna get to the finish line. One leads, one's gonna get us to the line.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, this Bergen County music thing, man, it's a lot of artists in Bergen County, you know what I mean, that struggle. Why do you think that though, man? I want your opinion on that.
I have this conversation with people all the time who are asking me, like, you know, how can it, there's people who hit me up all the time asking if I could give like some guidance and stuff. I try to do the best I can. You know, a lot of it is also like learning experience, you know, like I've been in unique scenarios where like I've taken L's or I've had to learn things and I've had to humble myself and I've had to big myself up. And I think like, you know, there's an ample amount of reasons I could give you why it is this way from my own perspective. It's just my perspective. But I think like people are not open-minded enough about, you know, how to do this stuff or how it all goes. You know, I think a lot of people think like they always know best. Ego is a big thing for sure. You know, and it gets in the way of people doing stuff. There's been people like, you know, scenarios where I may have a bigger following and I may have better music subjectively, and I'll still open up for this person who doesn't have that because my goal isn't, is this person better than me? My goal is I'm focused on the people. How can I get my stuff out there? And, you know, I think that's also the thing of like having a good team. It's not easy to have a good team. Having a good team means you have opinionated people. And if you're not built to hear opinions or or have conflict or have, you know, that push and pull, it's not easy to have a team. There's no team that's a good team that's going to come in and just do everything you want and not have, you know, something to say about it or offer insight. And I'm constantly getting into it with my guys. It's all out of love, of course, but
it's growth.
yeah, you know. So I think the Bergen County thing that I think we all talk about is the crab in a barrel mindset. And I think that's just because nobody is really taking time to look outside of the barrel. You know? I don't think there's a crab in the barrel being like, well, what if we all piled on top of each other and then we lift one out, then we lift the other out, and then we all make a new line and lift the last guy out, you know? Something I heard recently I thought was a great piece of advice when you were asking how important is your team, is something maybe I hope somebody locally could pick up on, is trying to do everything yourself. I think that's part of the process. There's times where there's a lot that I do myself.
Okay.
You know, that's part of the
Yeah,
process. There
me
will
too.
come a time where,
Yeah.
you know, you look to delegate things, but if you got one person who does everything themselves, obsessively studies the game, obsessively works on it, but then you have another person who does the same thing and has two friends who are also doing that same thing, and say on Friday you make a mistake, you learn from it and you teach your two friends, and then 2 weeks later they make a new mistake, they learn from it, they teach you, and then as time goes on, you move exponentially more quickly, like
Right.
versus the person who's just doing everything themselves.
Right.
And you know, I think like people need to just get out of their own way, man.
I think that's the biggest problem, yo. I was kind of discussing that with my partner. Like, that be the biggest problem. We block our own blessings
Yeah,
because we get caught up in our own ego.
for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? The one thing I gotta, I say this, and I'm always gonna say this. I love the fact that you are so passionate about Bergen County because, we got talent, but I feel like nobody wants to really say, come on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, let me shine, let me get to the moon first, then I'm gonna come back. It's like you, the era of the generation, and I'm talking about from my era. I've seen cats get there, but like you said, they gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, no one helped pull. And I sit down and I'm seeing you, a younger brother, grinding in heavy mode, and you keep screaming, I want to put the Garden State on. I want to put the Garden State on my back. Like, you so passionate about that. Because, the cats that you got on the last show, you know what I mean? Who you surround yourself with, I'm going to say that. You know what I mean? Those cats I see them constantly supporting y'all, supporting each other. Constantly pushing each other. That's my dude. That's my guy. I want to see him win. And it's like, bro, it's so hard right now because we live in a fake life with this social media. Your opinion with the music. If we didn't have the social media, would you think the game would be a little different?
Yeah, I think it would be a lot different. I mean, there's pros and cons to both of them. You know, the great thing about social media is it allows accessibility so much more quickly.
Globally.
Yeah, without things being gatekept. I think one of the sacrifices is people seeing how quick or easy it is to get, accessible, or it takes away a lot of that building block time, It used to be, from what's been told to me, obviously I'm young, so I wasn't around during that time, but it used to be that you have to really be somebody for somebody to come along and be like, we're gonna take this and put some gasoline on it and light the match to make it go all the way up. Now you can, on a fluke, something hit,
Something we kind of talked about earlier.
and you're not even prepared, to kind of like,
You haven't
move.
even been groomed
yeah,
for the.
you don't even know what
right.
you want.
You just kind of winging it now.
Yeah,
You
so
know what I mean? And you crash like that.
I think there's pros and cons to both, and I think like what we try to do, which is maybe why it's taken a little bit longer for us, is we try to blend the two. We try to merge the gap between the two. We try to make sure that we're, putting out content, but we're also trying to do the work of making really good content when we do it, or really like having a message or a meaning behind. And I want to put Jersey on, and I think everybody who knows me knows that like I'm not trying to be pigeonholed by only Jersey. Of course, I want to conquer everything I can, but if helping somebody doesn't take away from me, there should be no reason why I can't help them. If like you go, it's the same way if I'm outside and I only have $5 to my name and somebody asks me for $5, can't do it. If I got $100 to me, that 5 is not gonna hurt.
Exactly.
So that's kind of just how I view it. And even still, like, I think people have a misconception of like what being put on means. And, I've been blessed enough to be around a lot of A-list people in the last year. And you should be able to tell somebody where the watering hole is, but they gotta walk to go get the drink. I can't give you I'm really taking you off if I'm putting you in a position where you don't have to learn anything. I just
If I
give you
keep
everything.
spooning it, I keep feeding you, like, nah.
You miss the opportunity to see who you really are, who you really will be with this kind of stuff. So, you know, I think putting people on, like, you gotta climb the mountain and you gotta throw the rope down, but you don't climb back down, put everybody on your shoulders and climb back up.
It makes it the journey. We hustling backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We definitely hustling backwards, man. Yo, let's talk about June 6th, man.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Let's talk about it, man. Any exclusives you dropping on the culture, man, on June 6th, man?
A lot of unreleased music will be played on June 6th. I've been taking the time to refine my set list a bunch. You know, I took cues from the last time. I've been putting in new elements into the performance aspect in terms of, like, you know, the stuff that I'm using to perform. And I'm super excited, man. You know, I just want people to come out and have a good time again, you know. This will be, like, as of right now, the last one that I do in Teaneck for quite some time. So, you know, I just want to give that opportunity to other people locally. I want to show some good music, have people have a good time. And I'm excited, man. You know, last time everybody had a blast. I'm just looking forward to being, you know, with my community again and feeling that vibe.
Well, I got a question, though. What made you choose that location instead of doing it outside at the park?
I think I want to, you know, I'm trying to build it in the right way. My goal is to eventually have my own festival here and bring in.
That's why I kind of asked.
Yeah. And I've got tools that can make that happen now, but I'm in the state of refinement right now where I do a show, I see how it translates. I do, you know, what things could I do better so that when I get to that stage of, like, let me do a festival, I have some data points of, like, all right, this is how things kind of work in terms of promoting, getting people out, raising awareness type of music. Because, you know, my goal is eventually to have my own festival, do the same thing with local artists, but have the budget to bring in big headlining A-list artists and let these local artists get to open up for people. Because if you find out A Boogie is performing in Teaneck, New Jersey, it's going to be swarming. And then if there's a local rapper who gets to be the artist who goes on right before him, that's a blessing for that artist. It gives them a platform and an opportunity to get their music heard by people that maybe not are aware of them.
At all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's fire, man. I respect the fact that you love the poor and the people, man. You know what I mean? Because this culture right now is a selfish culture, man. So I'm big on the loyalty of the culture, man. Before we get out of here, man, I play a word game, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just throw some words at you. Just, you know, you could answer it however you want to. Hip hop, what's hip hop to you?
Origins. The first, I mean, I have it tatted on my finger. You know, on my finger is my first memory of a song is my mom playing Tupac for me. That's the first rapper I ever heard, and I just embodied as part of my blood. You know, like I obviously have a huge respect for the culture and knowing where that culture precedes me. You know, but man, that's just like. It's just part of my DNA at this point. Like, you know, that's why I got it tatted. It was the first memory I have of music in general.
Yeah, I definitely respect your passion. Who's Guy?
Who's Guy? That's a good one. A dreamer, optimist. Guys, everything will be okay. That's what I'm trying to embody. No matter what happens, everything's going to be okay. And that's what I want to give to people.
I respect that. My last one is, man, 10 years now, where will Guy be at?
Stadium tours, you know? Stadium tours. We're going to do the Jersey to the World stadium tours. Man, I'm trying to be the biggest artist out here, you know? That's in 10 years, that's where I'm looking to be.
And you know what, King? You will be that because it fits you. You know what I mean? I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for the time that was kept between us to be able to sit here today.
Yeah.
Because timing is everything.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful situation. Yo, just keep going, bro. Like, really, man, I'm behind you 10,000%, man. I respect you, man. I admire you. I watch what you're doing. I take notes because at the end of the day, I'm a person that's not afraid to listen and learn because knowledge is infinite. You know what I mean? Keep staying inspired, bro. because what you're doing is inspiring a lot of other people. You inspire me to keep going.
Thank you, man.
You know what I'm saying? And before we get out of here, let the culture know where they can find you at, get the music, and let them know the address for June 6th, man.
Yo, listen, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on here. My name is Guy. You can follow me everywhere at I'm Guy from NJ. June 6th, Teaneck, New Jersey, Debonair Music Hall, Queen Anne Road. We're going to be right here for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is, man. You know, what I do, man. I'm just here for the voice. I'm the culture. Got the opportunity to sit down with my man Guy. It's just a blessing. You know what it is, the Hush Boutique. Yo, make sure if you have not gotten those tickets, June 6th in the building, hit the link. You can buy them. Hit my man Leftway on Instagram. Get in. I'm going to be in the building to support these two great brothers and what they're doing. It's the voice of the culture, man. I'm out of here. My man Guy. Thank you, baby.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, man.